Hola clase, Señor Rowe here. Now I put this video together to try to make some more sense of the projects that we'll do from the second period all the way to the end of the school year. The purpose of doing these projects is to avoid a boring year, to avoid the same old presentations over and over again, to take us to places like Cancun or to Chile or Argentina. Look out for the waterfall. Now the goal here is not to make you dread the class and not to make you hate this. You really ought to make the most of your time here. Believe me, there are plenty of teachers that are happy with feeding you worksheet after worksheet after worksheet. I'll keep the work coming, but you know there's not a lot of homework in this class. When you do have a project, spend 20 or 30 minutes on it every couple nights, just kind of adding something to it, rehearsing, whatever it needs to be. That'll make it more interesting for you, believe me. The alternative is not fun. I mean, if it's worksheets you love and workbooks you love, I've got plenty of them. So let's dispel a couple myths. These are short presentations, maybe 4 to 5 solid PowerPoint slides per person if you team up, or 8 to 10 if you're doing it by yourself. Remember, groups of 1 to 2 for areas A and B. It means equal work. It's not just one person doing the work for two. I'll likely question to see what part you had, what role you played in the presentation, and the research. A great source of pride for a country is its flag and its colors. So we kick off the projects with a study of that country's flag and its anthem to see what the symbols represent, to find out why there's a star in the Chilean flag, what's in the middle of the Bolivian flag, why is there a sun in the middle of the Argentinian flag. Can we find out why the Puerto Rican and the Cuban flags are so similar? What's in the middle of that Dominican flag? And quick, what's up with the coat of arms and the Spanish flag? We know from our multicultural shows that music and dance is very important, as well as celebrations and a culture. We know that. So if your job is to research it, do a good job. If you want to take food and drink, cook something, bring it on in. The facilities here aren't that great for preparing food here, but bring in a non-alcoholic drink and bring in food if you like. I'll try to help you cover some of the costs if the groceries get a little bit out of control. Just give me a heads up. The summer after high school, I made one of the best decisions of my life. I was decent at Spanish in high school, but mostly out of the book, with not a lot of spoken Spanish experience outside of the classroom. I did the summer program in Guadalajara, Mexico, And it was by far the best experience of my life in terms of travel and taking classes after high school. Heck, any class. I mean, high school classes aren't that great, and college classes can be pretty tough. But to take a class in another country from a foreign professor, but usually sitting next to American kids or people from other countries, was awesome. It didn't even feel like school. One of the projects that we're going to do this year is going to be somebody, every grading period, is going to research a study abroad program in the country that we are studying. Most of the time, the courses you do are easier than the courses you took in high school, and definitely easier than the courses that are offered in college. At least the classes I took in Mexico were. And most of the time, if not all the time, they'll transfer to great universities like the University of San Francisco. One of the greatest things that you may not have experienced yet is travel. You will. As future college students, people who are going to make some money, have a few nickels to rub together, you will travel, and you'll have the opportunity to keep taking your Spanish with the study abroad program, or taking the language in college as you continue, getting better at it, and then traveling with it to see how it goes. One of the greatest things you can do when you're in a study abroad program is to travel on the weekends. It was great. I didn't do any airline flights on the weekends when I was down in Guadalajara, but I did do some bus trips that were great to Michoacan and Puerto Vallarta. I still remember them to this day, 20 years later. One of the projects that you can choose is to pick 3 travel destinations, part of the excursions program that the study abroad program offers in the other country. You'll work with the group who's also taking on the task of looking at a study abroad program. You'll look at the website they're using to find out information about their program. You will tap into specifics on 3 destinations you can visit with the school, usually on a bus, with other people from the school, and give us some details about what you can do there, and most importantly, show us pictures. In some cases, you'll do a totally different project. You won't do anything from the book. You won't do anything from the country that we're studying. You'll do something that relates to careers, college Spanish, or something else in the community. Examples of this include things like talking to a Latino immigrant about their story, about their arrival in the United States, and about their adjustment to living here. You might also interview what we're going to call a non-Latino, or somebody who studied Spanish for the purposes of their work or for family, and have a story to tell about that. Usually a story of making mistakes or taking a long time to master something. Everybody's got a story, and there's a lot of people out there who you wouldn't assume speak Spanish that actually do. But really, for the most part, these are supposed to be fairly short presentations in areas A and B. Fairly short presentations. bring in a little music, work in a little YouTube clip in your PowerPoint if you want. If you love doing videos and you're really good at them, and there are plenty of you out there that are awesome at doing the videos we do for the textbook, you can still work your video magic into something like an interview or researching a college program or food and drink from a country. Just be creative and keep it on topic and no more than 4 or 5 minutes. Now what you see behind me are the awards that we did last year for the first time, the Rowe Academy Awards, and there were some amazing videos. On the Rowe Overfell YouTube channel you'll find examples of them, as well as the packages that say Rowe Academy Awards, so you can watch some of the best that we saw last year. Most of the time you'll have the task of doing something that relates to the Spanish that we do in class. Verb tenses, grammar, whatever we're doing, vocabulary of course. Most of the time this is the project that you're going to be doing. Right down here, the content area. The deal with the projects is that you, twice during the year, dos veces, twice, you'll break out of the content area and you'll do one project from area A and one project from area B. The rest of the time you'll be working in the content area. One of the things you can do in the content area is an infomercial or a TV commercial. So if you want to think of a product and make a little infomercial about it, trying to use the most Spanish that you can based on where we're at in Spanish 1, 2, or 3, go for it. 30, 60 seconds, 2 minutes, show us your product or the service that you'll provide. Be creative, film on location if you can. Do all the stuff we normally do for the videos that we see in the class, but this is new this year. It's an infomercial or a TV commercial for a product that already exists, something that we already use. Go film a TV commercial for it using yourself as an actor or people who are willing participants to be actors and to make a new ad campaign for that product. Now some of the papers will say vocab focused and some will say grammar focused. That's a little bit different. I used to let you kind of run wild with it and just do whatever from the chapter. I would like to see the vocab focus include on the screen a lot of the vocabulary that we're using in that chapter. Okay? And then the grammar, let's say it's the past tense, the preterite tense, making sure that when we put the graphics up on the screen, we're putting them up, those verbs. Those verbs are very important, so we're putting the verbs up. Or the simple future tense in Spanish 1, or the subjunctive tense, and whatever we're doing. Mainly it's the essential skills that we find here on the board. So when we see essential skills for the first and the second chapter of the grading period, that's what you should be shooting for.